Capital gains is like you have this goose that's laying the golden egg, and you eat the goose.
I like that. That's fantastic. That's about as simple as it gets,
Yeah.
right?
Why would you eat the goose?
Mr. Kiyosaki, a question that we have for you, I'm sure a lot of listeners do as well, is why do so many people get wiped out with this real estate market, and what happened?
Because they're idiots, that's why. That's a painful subject. That's a horrible subject. I think that's why I support Ron Paul so much and things like this, is because basically our banking system's corrupt. Now, so what? Que pasa? The banking system's corrupt. We all know that today. So what are you going to do about it? The reason people got hammered is because they don't have any financial education at school. Like I said, when I came back and my dad was unemployed and back in the 70s, head of education and all this, I decided I was going to take real estate classes. So I took real estate classes. So today I make, I think I have 3,500 units today. They pay me $100 a month. I'm doing pretty good. There's 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. The formulas never change. I have well wells with guys out here in Texas also and all this. It's all a word called cash flow. The people that got hammered were the people that were going for capital gains. The reason I say they're idiots, if you have gone to a regular school, they should teach you the difference between capital gains versus cash flow. And the people who are getting hammered in any market, I don't care if it's stocks, real estate, business, and all that, people are going for capital gains. That means you buy a stock at $1 and you're going to sell it at $2. You buy a house for $100,000, you're going to sell it for $200,000. That's capital gains. Now, if I buy a house, it's monopoly. I buy 1 greenhouse, I get $10. 2 greenhouses, $20. 3 greenhouses, 30, 4, 40, and red hotel, 60. I mean, you don't have to go to college to know that crap. It's that simple. The secret to being rich is not a college education, but can you control cash flow? And this is what cash flow looks like. So this here, I need this. Income expense asset liability. Again, this is, you get a job. And this was my poor dad, go to school, get a job, get your PhD. And so this here is cash flow. So the income comes in, and it goes out this way. First line of expense is tax. So this is a poor person's cash flow pattern. It's not how much money you make. Most people, I don't care if you have a PhD or no school at all, but they can't control the cash flowing out through their expenses. And so that's why people like Susie Orman say, cut up your credit cards, live below your means, because you're a spendaholic. So that's a poor person. This is a middle class person's cash flow pattern. And this is where the house comes in. First thing, most kids do when they get pay raise or that, they buy themselves a bigger house. Oh, my house is an asset. Now, who tells you that? Your real estate agent, of course.
Yeah.
Right? Because they want to give you this false sense of security while you're getting screwed. But when you look at what happens with a house, a personal residence, something I live in, the money comes in and goes out, and this is middle class, but it also goes out through a mortgage payments. Oh, but I don't have a mortgage. You still have taxes. You still, Hawaii just raised the property taxes on me, which is probably all I'm going to sell. I'm going to get out of Hawaii. But you have taxes and you have upkeep. So money's always flowing out. So that's why your house is not an asset. It's because it's taking money from your pocket. So very simply said, assets put money in my pocket. Liabilities take money from my pocket. You see, capital gains is a Ponzi scheme. Exactly as Rick Perry said. Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. Capital gains means you're hoping there's a bigger idiot than me. That's why I said they're all idiots. That somebody, you paid $150,000 for a house and you're hoping somebody's going to pay you $300,000 for it. You're hoping there's an idiot bigger than you sitting out there waiting to relieve you of your stupidity. So if you're going to be smart, don't play Ponzi schemes. Don't play winners and losers. Be a stand-up person. Give your renter a great house at a great price. well cared for. They take care of it. If they don't pay you, kick them out. All those other things, It's about business. With oil, it's cash flow. Every month, the check comes in. Show me my money every month. So I get richer and richer every year. Last year we only had 2,700 houses. Now we have 3,500 houses. It's not rocket science. You just keep adding assets, and every month those checks come in. I don't play winners or losers. I don't play speculation. I don't go to Vegas. I'm not counting. Listen to CNBC. That's the biggest Ponzi scheme I've ever seen. Yeah, what do you put your money in today? The stock market's going to go up. Is it going to go down? I think I am Jesus or something. Market here. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't wear a Swami's hat. I just want to give my tenant a good house at a good price, and they better take care of it, or if not, that's it. Capital gains is like you have this goose that's laying the golden egg, and you eat the goose.
I like that. That's about as simple as it gets.
Yeah. Why would you eat the goose? That's why so many people got hammered when the subprime came out. They went into the poorest neighborhoods. Dreams of getting rich came to their heads. They've all become flippers. Flippers are capital gains. Ponzi scheme. Social Security, Medicare, Ponzi scheme. The stock market is a Ponzi scheme. Real estate is a Ponzi scheme if you're playing capital gains. You're hoping for some idiot bigger than you to pay you a better price than you paid it. That's what. Yes. It's very simple. You don't have to go to Harvard like Obama did to know that. 6 most important words for financial intelligence and IQ is income, expense, asset, liability, but it's really cash flow. Now, if I could bring up a more horrible subject, is do you think people can be assets or liabilities? For most young people, they fall in love, they get married, they have kids. Is a child an asset or liability? Now, I'm not saying don't have kids, but you got to think the kid is expensive, and they don't get cheaper. They get more expensive every year. Then they go to college, and then it gets even more expensive. And as people get older, family members become liabilities. So that if, as a young person, as your parents get older, the question is, can I afford to spend $20,000 a month on my mom or my dad's long-term health care? No. So, and this is going to happen to my generation. Many people don't realize, but their brothers or sisters kids and all this become liabilities to them. So as a person is fairly well off, I'm and Kim and my friends are thinking about two-legged liabilities. So I know today that if my sisters become ill, I'm the one with the money, and it's my responsibility to pay for them. So these are things that people don't think about a lot of times, is what happens not only as they grow up, but what happens as they age. Statistics show the average person, like my generation, let's say have $1 million, 80% of that $1 million will be gone in the last 2 years of life.
I think when I was your age, everybody used to say, stay out of debt. So it wasn't until later that I realized that you can use it, and you can use it to buy assets. So it's a big difference between good debt and bad debt. But essentially all it is, it's a form of money from somebody to buy something. So in a loan or a mortgage or whatever you want to call it. So it's just money. And so being able to use money from a bank or from a life company or a pension or something like that.
An investor like me.
Yeah, or an investor in the form of a loan or equity is the most important thing that you can learn, because I think I certainly grew up with no money, and my parents didn't either. And we always used to have to save for everything that we always did. You know, it was always, how much money can we save and then we can buy something? And it wasn't until later that I realized that when you use debt, that you can actually do it. You don't even have to have any money. You know, you just use other people's money.
The people who are getting hammered in any market, I don't care if it's stocks, real estate, business, and all that, people are going for capital gains. The secret to being rich is not a college education, but can you control cash flow? So very simply said, assets put money in my pocket, liabilities take money from my pocket. You see, capital gains is a Ponzi scheme. 6 most important words for financial intelligence and IQ is income, expense, asset, liability, but it's really cash flow. Is a child an asset or liability? Now, I'm not saying don't have kids, but you got to think the kid is expensive. And as people get older, family members become liabilities.
I think when I was your age, everybody used to say, stay out of debt. So it wasn't until later that I realized that you can use it and you can use it to buy assets. So it's a big difference between good debt and bad debt. But essentially all it is, it's a form of money from somebody to buy something.